I was going to kick off by telling you a little bit about Beanstalk and who we are, for those of you who don't know. Beanstalk have been around for some time, started off with Beanstalk Marketing. Beanstalk Marketing primarily are an outbound telemarketing agency, and really the Beanstalk Marketing business evolved to where it is today due to the digital channels that it chose to drive those leads to its business for conversion. So out of that came Beanstalk Digital, because it kind of made sense that if these digital channels were working very well for Beanstalk Marketing, that's another channel that we can offer to our clients. So now Beanstalk as a business is full service, so we do all the outbound services and all of the inbound services too. So firstly and foremostly, Beanstalk are a lead generation business. So everything that we do is about driving leads and opportunities to your website that will hopefully make some inbound inquiry that you can then convert into clients. We've been a successful business over the last 4 years. We've enjoyed 50% year-on-year growth, so which is very exciting for us. Beanstalk Marketing was formed with two directors. You may know Gavin Burr's with us today, so it's Gavin Burrs and Phil Swanson. I'm looking after the digital side of the business. So between the three of us, we've got 60 combined years, so we've got a few grey hairs and all that sort of stuff. Combined experience in sales, business development and management experience. So from our backgrounds, we worked for these brands here: Sony Music, Wincanton, DHL, Hayes and Exchanging. So hopefully some names you'll be familiar with. So what I want to talk about, and Gary just touched on it there very briefly, digital marketing spend is now second only in the world to TV spend. So traditionally press used to take that second position. Now digital marketing has overtaken that, and if you look at the curve or the line of how that's increasing, that still is increasing year on year at the moment. So it still is very much in its infancy. I mean, when you consider digital marketing's only been around for, say, relatively speaking, 10 to 15 years, as we know it now, it is still very much a growth industry. So what I'm touching on today are just some of these channels, and I'm going to talk about these channels individually, but of course there are other channels. So what the marketing process is all about, it's about finding which are the best channels that work for your business. So we've got some other ones here. So we've got television, which is still number one. We've got radio, we've got telemarketing, one of our bright young telemarketers here, and we've got the press here. So then we've got digital marketing. So we've broken this down into a sales funnel. So we've got three elements here. So we've got suspects. So these people are relevant in terms of who you should be marketing towards, okay? And as these people, so you might be sending these people messages, and it might be the right messages, but it could be the wrong time in their buying cycle, depending on what you're selling them. So we're going to call these people suspects. As these people become more interested in your products and services, they will become your prospects. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to convert those prospects into your clients, okay? So really what you want to do is you want to be spending a lot of attention as soon as you have somebody who's crossing over from being a suspect into a prospect. That's when they're kind of interested, and that's when you want to be engaging more aggressively than you would if they were just a suspect. So the key and fundamental thing in your digital presence is going to be your website. Because we see it with telemarketing activity, if we are calling on behalf of businesses, we do see that inevitably that will drive traffic to people's websites. And it's very, very important that the key messages, because we do a briefing process with all of our clients, and it's very important that in that briefing process we understand, for the businesses we represent, what are their key selling points, okay? Why would people choose that business over another business? And very often we find that some of the conversations we have, we then look on their website and these messages aren't prevalent because people are talking about, they're trying to educate their clients or their prospects or their suspects about what they do, rather than talking about why these people should be using them as their preferred supplier for whatever it is. So we primarily say, well, look, your website should be a lead generation tool. The content should be engaging. Things have moved on over the last 2 or 3 years. You don't have to write 300 words minimum per page because that's what Google want you to do. That game has changed. So now it's all about writing engaging content. They're going to basically get those people to become prospects and clients. Okay? Also very important is the user experience. So your website should be not too cluttered, easy to move around, easy to find the information that you require as somebody who's interested in the business. Well, we've got a few things we do. We've got a new website coming out in a couple of days' time. So what's the important features here? We've got our key sales messages in our leaderboard area here. It's easy to make contact. So we're driving something like 50 or 60 inquiries every month through people filling out contact forms, and probably more than that by people either clicking on the email link or people making a phone call into our organisation. Okay, we've got multimedia here, so video I think is a very important part of your online presence now. People want to be able to engage, see what you're up to, and it's also a great opportunity if you've got a good story to tell that you can have other people tell your story for you. Okay, and that's a very, very powerful message to deliver. So some of the other things to talk about is responsive websites. So we've got responsive for mobile, tablet and PC. So it basically means you have the same experience. If you're working in a business-to-business environment, I'd say having a mobile website is of lesser importance. But if you are engaging with a lot of consumers, a lot of people will be using their smartphones and handhelds and whatever else. So you may need to consider those aspects. So I'm now going to talk about SEO, because SEO traditionally is about, it was the euphemism for people saying being found on the first page of Google. So a lot of people would go to these SEO agencies and they would say, give us 10 keywords and we'll guarantee you page 1 position for your 10 keywords. And, without too much, research perhaps, some people would say, well, I'm a plumbing business, so I want to be found for plumbing and whatever else. And you'd end up with these 10 keywords. And there would be some kind of like some on-page and off-page activity. So the difference between those two things are your on-page activity is all about having your descriptions, your titles, the keywords in there, things, descriptions of images, because Google can't see images, it needs to be told what they are. So if you have all of those factors right, of the 200 odd things that Google uses to rank you, that will help you to progress up the charts. Then there was the off-page activity, and this is where a lot of the black hat stuff was going on. I mean, first of all, it was going on with the on-page stuff where people were stuffing their page full of keywords. We are a telemarketing business. Telemarketing is what we do. For telemarketing, you shouldn't go anywhere else. Well, those days are gone. But on the off-page stuff, particularly 2 or 3 years ago, people were saying, well, I'm going to build you a link building and an article writing campaign where I'm going to guarantee you're going to have so many links going into your website. Well, that's kind of dead now because Google's deaded that off because of the Penguin updates. Because for Google, it's absolutely paramount that it keeps that the quality of their natural search as good as possible. Otherwise, people are going to go off and use other search engines, and then they're going to lose all the benefits they get from Google AdWords, because that really is the cash cow for Google. So Google are hell bent on making sure the natural search positions are as relevant as possible. So what's replacing this SEO as we know it? Well, on-page is still relevant. Off-page linking, it is still relevant. And you might want to look at your competitors' backlinks and see if they've got some really high quality links, say from a B2B marketing article they've written, which is deemed to be high quality. So these sort of things will work well for you. So what we've got here is content marketing. So content marketing is all about generating your own content, okay, that is relevant, shareable, and adds value to the people who are the recipients. So content marketing, and that should stay on your website wherever possible, okay, because that's what's going to drive, that's going to tell Google you're active and you're adding pages. There's social signals, so if a lot of people are looking at your YouTube page, or they're looking, or they're coming in via Twitter or LinkedIn, that's going to be good for your business too. And the other important thing is optimization as well. So just understanding, so you've got these keywords, you kind of know what's working for your business. You might be doing some pay-per-click because that will tell you very quickly. And then you're going to be kind of like getting those fractional improvements by making sure that you've got all the on-page stuff good and correct, present and correct. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a bit about pay-per-click. So pay-per-click really is like a shot in the arm to get traffic onto your website. Okay, so what you're doing with pay-per-click is you're trying to be as absolutely targeted as possible. And as you go through that process, you'll be bidding for keywords, and then you can be able to track when people do things on your website that you want them to do. And that could be an inbound inquiry, it could be a telephone call which can be tracked. It could be things, events like visiting the About Us page, which we see as a strong buying signal. Okay, so you might say that's a goal action. Okay, so then you'll be able to see after a period of time that which keywords are driving more of those goal actions for you. Okay, so then we've also got to consider the post-click experience. Now, what the post-click experience is, if I'm saying to you that I've got beautiful yachts in a certain location, and I land on a web page, or you land on a web page, and you've got to go off hunting for that material, or the sales messages that you see on the ad copy aren't backed up on the page itself, then the chances are you're going to lose a lot of traffic. So one way around that is to adjust your website so you are getting to the correct landing page. Another thing to do, if you don't want to, mess with the infrastructure of your website, is you can develop a landing page which is very specific to the campaign you're running through Google AdWords. And according to people such as Optimizely, a specific landing page backing up those sales messages will increase your chances of conversion by a minimum of 25%. Okay, so then we go through the optimization process with a pay-per-click account, and what that is about, you might start an AdWords account off with say 10, 20, 30, 40 keywords which you're bidding on. But over a period of time, if we're bidding for say telemarketing, okay, we know that kind of gets a bit of traffic, but when people are looking for telemarketing companies, we know they're looking for someone to fulfill the service for them. When they're looking for telemarketing companies in Essex, then we've got to be all over that. So what you will do is you will add, as you go through each week and see what's working for you, you will add those keywords into your library. So that means if this gentleman here is bidding for telemarketing companies, and I'm bidding telemarketing companies in Essex, and you've typed that in, I will beat you. Assuming there are other factors as well, but it just means that the more you add into that process, and the more you put into that process, the better that process becomes for you. Your quality score goes up, the cost of your advertising comes down. And you also have the opportunity to then say, well, there are certain words which I don't want to trigger my ads. So for example, telemarketing jobs in Essex. So I negatize the word jobs, and my ad doesn't get triggered for that. Okay, so that's really important. So then we've got the last thing I'm going to talk about here, and Gary touched on this as well, is retargeting with banner adverts. So you've worked really, really hard to get these people onto your website. They've kind of been engaged, and then what you can do is you can follow them around, and we can follow people around Google, LinkedIn, Facebook rather, through Facebook Exchange, through Yahoo, and through Bing, so that your brand and your messages are fresh in their mind. And it normally costs 10 to 20% of the initial click to get these people back onto your site to perhaps complete something in that important sales process. So that's how banner advertising works. The great thing about banner advertising is that it doesn't matter which channel how these people found you. It could be a radio advert, it could be natural SEO, it could be email marketing or something like that. As long as they've made that visit to your website, you have got them in your kind of sites, if you like, and then you can follow them around on the internet. If you've ever been to the Beanstalk Marketing website, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so next channel I want to talk about is email marketing. So it's all about engagement with these people, you know, through the various stages of this chain here. So it's got to be appropriate. So for example, you know, you would speak to your clients in a very different way you'd speak to your suspects. Okay, you might speak the same way to your prospects as you would to your suspects, perhaps. But what you might do is you might accelerate that process, give them more sales messages, etc., etc., etc. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to nurture these people through this funnel here and have some lovely clients drop out at the end. So with email marketing, the important thing is it normally doesn't happen if you just send one email out and then do nothing. Say, oh well, I spent a few £100 doing an email campaign and nothing really happened. It's a process. Think about how you buy from other people. You don't just get one email and then suddenly make a decision and pick the phone up and say, oh yeah, I'll have 20 of those please. There's normally a process involved. So what we've got here is automation. So you can say, okay, I've sent you an email, you haven't opened it. Next week I'll send you another email saying, hey, you should have really opened that email I sent you last week. It's got some really good stuff in it. You open the email, I can track you've opened the email, and then that pushes you on to the next part of the thing. Hey, so you're in, I don't know, telemarketing, are you? So why don't you read our case study about what we can do for your business? And you can say, oh, that's quite relevant to me. So it's engaging with these people and then measuring what people do. So measuring when people open your emails, measuring what time of day people open your emails and stuff like that, because it does make a difference. And then what you can do in the background is you can do something called lead scoring. So if you've opened 5 emails and you've gone onto the website and you've looked at certain key pages, then you will score more points as a prospect. And it's at that point then we can go to Salesforce or whatever your CRM tool is. Hey, we've got a hot prospect here. Let's push that into Salesforce and they're due a callback because they are engaged with your business and with your messages. Okay, so there you go. So we've got some CRM integration, a couple of things to be wary of. A lot of people are opening their emails now on smartphones and stuff. So just make sure if you're using HTML stuff, everything works, it looks great in all the different email clients and all that type of stuff. So lastly, let's talk about social. So there's various social channels. I've got just 3 of them. I've missed. There's loads of them. I've missed YouTube off. That's equally as relevant because YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, which is owned by the first biggest search engine in the world, which is Google. So very, very relevant indeed. So it's engagement. So what's the right channel for your business? If you're a business to business type of organization, then perhaps LinkedIn might be more up your street. If you're engaging with consumers, you might be using Facebook. Twitter's great. You can find key influencers like Gary was pointing out in LinkedIn, and you can communicate with key influencers on Twitter and then try and drive traffic into your social network through those methods. The other thing is, I talked about content marketing earlier. Social media is a great way. If you are producing this content, it's time consuming, it can be quite costly. Social is a great way to get your content out there to people. Okay, so equally when Gary put that link, he said you can put a PDF document in, a link. Why not put a link into a landing page or a white paper or something that's really got some strong sales messages for your business? Okay, you've also got hashtags, which are great. So B2B, if there's a B2B hashtag, what you might want to say is, hey, you include that hashtag in your post, and then that content will be able to reach an even wider audience. Okay, and also when people visit that and then come back onto your website, that's the kind of thing that will help with your SEO because you've got those referring domains. Okay, I can see they're socially active. People are interested, they're engaged, they're coming to their website. Let's promote them. Okay, the other thing, just to touch on briefly, is advertising on these social networks. So particularly things like Facebook and LinkedIn. you can have a sponsored post or a sponsored story. And what that means is if I'm looking to contact certain businesses of a certain size, I'm looking for director level or above, or people in the marketing department or whatever else, it's a great way where you can just connect with those people directly. You'll come up in their news feed, it will say it's a sponsored story, but it might just be the right time. You might just hit that moment when that person's thinking about your product or your service. And of course you've also got display adverts. Beanstalk run display adverts in LinkedIn, and we've had some good successes out of that. So it's just another option you've got for your business. So that pretty much wraps up all the digital channels I was going to discuss with you. If there's any questions, I don't know if I can take any questions, if there are any questions.
At the end of
yeah, I'll just speak to the end. So that's it. So thank you very much for listening.